Today, we will be discussing the not so great social practices or the social problems people in Haryana face. The state of Haryana has vibrant and earthy customs. It is one of the richest states in India.
However, there are a lot of practices here that need to amendment at the earliest. The major among them are the denial of education of the girl child, female infanticide, and widow remarriages also pose a greater social issue and hence are a very big obligation to the community. There are many obstacles like these that need to be tackled.
Firstly, the lack of quality education. A recent report by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India showed that a mere 41% of students at colleges under Maharshi Dayanand University, one of Haryana's oldest and largest universities, passed in the year 2015 to 2016. The pass percentage has been in constant decline since 2012 to 2013. It was 55% only 3 years ago. Well qualified people are applying for the position of peon. On inspecting 40 random colleges, the CAG found out that 27 lacked proper teaching staff. Either there was a shortage of teachers or the teachers hired lacked the necessary qualifications. 16 of the 40 colleges lacked proper laboratory. Some students feel that nepotism is to blame. Our classrooms are small, but the intake is high due to nepotism in admissions. There is also a shortage of faculty. Part time lecturers have been hired to make up for this. But instead of teaching, they are mostly out protesting to be made permanent. This deteriorating quality of higher education can be seen reflected in the high unemployment rate among Haryana graduates. Last year, as many as 23,166 people applied for 92 peon jobs in MDU Rota. People holding degrees like MA, MEd, and an MPhil were all seen applying for the post.
Following that, we will be discussing one of the most inhuman problems we face in Haryana, which is female infanticide. Female infanticide is the intentional killing of baby girls due to preference for a male child and from the low value associated with the birth of females. These practices arise in areas where cultural norms value male child over female child. Kamlesh Danda is an Indian politician. She was elected as Haryana's Legislative Assembly in 2019. She is the State Minister of Women and Child Development.
She played her very precious part very good and took responsibility at the topmost. She tightened the punishments and she has asked the officers concerned the notice on complaints of crime against child and women should be taken immediately. FIR should be registered after conducting the test immediately and if necessary medical examination should be carried out on time. The main reason for female infanticide is poverty of birth of unmarried women and people's mindset from a long time ago. Nobody cared about women, so giving birth to a girl child was not favorable, and these things are even present today in some rural areas, which is the reason they commit this crime as they think giving birth to a woman is unworthy or a burden. There are different ways to tackle this problem, but no one of it will work as the main thing to change here is the people's mindset, which seems like an impossible task. But it can be done by educating them about why we shouldn't practice or preach such orthodoxial thoughts. This might lead to favor effects of this problem.
There's an act on female infanticide called the Female Infanticide Prevention Act, 1870. This act was enacted on 18th March 1870 by William Batnage. This act states that female infanticide is a crime and will be counted as brutal as murder. This is the reason why Haryana has the most severe shortage of girls compared to boys and stands in the bottom among all states of India. The discrimination against girls' child and strong son preference over daughters is well known in the Indian society, which is largely responsible for resulting in the decisive sex ratio.
And last but not the least, the remarriages of widows. Consent to the remarriage of the major widow. In the case of a widow who is full of age or whose marriage has been consummated, her own consent shall be sufficient. Consent to constitute her remarriage lawful and valid. And yet, it's not appreciated and looked down upon in Haryana. According to the Hindu Widows Remarriage Act 1856, passed on 16th July 1856, it legalized the remarriage of widows in all jurisdictions of India under East India Company rule. The act was enacted on 26th July 1856. It was drafted by Lord Dalhousie and passed by Lord Canning before the Indian Rebellion of 1857. Before this law, the custom of sati was also abolished by Lord William Bennet in 1829. There is no long term solution to this, even though we have laws, and it is the right of every citizen in the country. In some cultures, it is appreciated, while in others, it's not, which breaks the very essence of this law. Apart from making people understand and hoping they will change their minds, because women, like the other part of humanity, men, need to find emotional and mental peace, there isn't much scope to this debate. They deserve happiness and reassurance in their lives. Therefore, it is inhuman to even consider taking away this right of theirs.
At last, we have a thorough grasp of the issue and its potential solutions. To summarize, the government is doing its part and putting in its best efforts to address these and other issues. Meanwhile, let us all do our share and hope that the citizens of this country reform. Coming to the credits and who did what. Satvik collected data while Pavni and Meher arranged it. Lahiri helped with the video and Abhigna made the video and the script with the help of Pavni and Meher.